isn't a job. $15, little man, put that ish.
What a symphony!
Harmony Court Island, it's the place to be, a pirate's paradise that everyone should see. It's a land of music treasure, filled with happy song.
Forest bells ring sweetly, and the birds are playing on.
Harmony Court Island, it's the place to be. If you listen closely, it's playing for you and me. It's playing for you and me. Golly fish, golly! Harmony Court Island be back in tune! Yippee! Thank you, Captain Mickey, for all your help. And Little Goofer, me boy, thank you most of all for being...
This is worse than before!
Shiver me timber and timbers! Abandon ship! Head for the Xylophone Hills! Ahoy, mates! Here be the map to me treasure. Finally! Hey, this isn't any kind of treasure map I've ever seen. Where's the treasure supposed to be? Where's the X that marks the spot? Well, before we can find the X, we have to find two musical instruments. A ukulele in the strum string jungle, and bongo drums in the bamboo forest. When we play the ukulele and the bongos together,
conduct an experiment that figures it out. And that experimentation is, the audience is right with us. They don't know what's going to happen, and neither do we. And the fact is that, you know, there's no producer that writes down the story of our episodes before we start to film. We have an outline, and we almost never follow it. And when we come to a result we didn't expect, we change directions.
Yeah. So why do you think people find science so intimidating?
You know, there's a place in which culturally we've placed science in this elite category of like, oh, well, that's for people who are smart. And it's not. It's for anybody. And, you know, when we started doing this show, we thought we came to the table with some skills because we both worked for decades in the special effects industry. And, you know, about 3 or 4 years ago, we were on a plane and we were just kind of reassessing what we've learned over the previous 8 or 9 years. And we're like, wow, it's totally incredible, just from our personal standpoint. And all we've been doing is arguing over critical thinking and an ethical methodology that is robust and rigorous and makes sense to both of us. And those sort of arguments, while, you know, in the moment they might not be entertaining to be having, the fact is they breed such a refined result that we totally understand that that's part of the process. You know, I was talking to a friend the other day who's an editor. He's a filmmaker, and a wonderful filmmaker. And somebody asked him if he was good at math, and he says, I'm great at math, I'm just not so good at numbers. And he had a beautiful point, because as an editor, of course, editing is all about this careful math and alchemy of timing and rhythm and beats and telling a story. It's not about doing equations or an algorithm, but it's really about being sensitive to a rhythm, and that's math. And he's right, he is great at math, even though he can't add or balance his checkbook. And if more people understood that, more people understood that science is merely thinking critically. So you could answer a question that someone presents to you just by sitting down and running some numbers or thinking through the whole problem rather than thinking, oh, well, that's something for smart people to figure out.
Do you think people can, I mean, obviously you guys have the equipment and the time, it's your jobs to do this sort of thing. Can everyday people do myth busting?
The simple translation of what you just asked is, can everyday people answer questions? Ask and answer questions. Yes, can they think critically?
Can they think critically through a problem?
Yeah, and yes, absolutely, they can do that, and they can do it in more or less degrees of diligence and care, and that's, that's dependent on the nature of what the question they're asking is, and how how important it is, how methodical they want to be. That's what I was saying, is that this was something that we came into kind of to realize by accident, was that we don't start doing one of these experiments saying, let's go do some science. We just want to do a good job. Right. So any average person out there that wants to do a good job of understanding their world is in effect doing some form of science. They're just being methodical and careful about how they're moving through the process of answering that question.
I'll give a great example of this. I had someone email me a few years ago and said, hey, I heard that the air around the Eiffel Tower weighs more. If you bound the Eiffel Tower in a box, the air in that box would weigh more than the actual Eiffel Tower. And I was like, that sounds like total BS. But it also sounds like math that I can do. So I figured out what the square of the base of the Eiffel Tower was. And then I figured out what the height was, length times width times height. I figured out how much air on the average weighs. Low, not the case. But wait, I was measuring the square of the Eiffel Tower. What if I drew a cylinder with the square bound within a circle? At that point, the air did weigh more, and I was accounting for the thinner air at the top, averaging across. It was 5 minutes of sitting with the calculator on my computer, just adding some numbers and putting them into a form and thinking about it, and I answered a question. And now, I found myself thrilled by the process. It's not that complicated to think critically through a problem and think, am I not thinking about this clear enough? Like, oh, doing a square, let's circle it and let's see what happens there.
How did we get here? I think a lot of people feel like they're alone and they just want to give up.
That's right.
I love my country. It is the shining example of a place where people work together in peace and friendship and worship God and make things better together.
That's right.
Well, the ideas that built America are being lost and perverted.
That is not right.
Ask yourself this one question.
How many Marxist, communist, anti-capitalists do you have around you on a daily basis?
One, two, three, so.
The truth is that you are the defender of liberty.
Yes, sir.
Our situation is bad.
There are Nazis in America, Nazis and communists.
You have to think like a German Jew, 1934.
I almost forgot for a moment.
There is a perfect storm formulating, and it is here.
We are entering a dangerous and scary time, America.
The country will be washed with blood.
These people don't mess around. They are taking you to a place to be slaughtered.
Death camp.
What planet have I landed on? It's like the damn planet of the apes. Did I slip through a wormhole in the middle of the night and this looks like America?
We're in a dark, dark place. We've got some dark dudes coming our way.
Black Panthers, Acorn, reparations,
Welfare,
Jeremiah Wright, Van Jones,
Obama himself,
Al-Qaeda, Iran,
Islamic jihadists, terrorists,
Venezuela,
immigration, Mexicans, the refugees, drug lords,
Hispanic groups, South America,
illegal aliens,
Mexico, Chinese. Everyone is coming.
The enemy is not only in the gates, they're inside the house.
Valientes brillamos como brilla un peso.
Hola, Mex-America. It's like a pack of wild cujos ripping up the flesh of the American people. Drug lords, illegal aliens,
Mexico. They're going to start getting more and more violent.
we have been tossed into boiling water.
These people are cannibalizing us. Cannibalizing us. That's what Barack Obama is doing to the American people.
I'm hoping that the guy with horns doesn't actually show up.
Everything is about to change. to the extreme, the insider extreme. We invite you to join up for $9.95 a month.
It's going to explain everything that is going on.
Il faut tout changer, oui, mais il ne faut pas changer l'essentiel. Et l'essentiel, c'est que l'Europe reste un projet de paix et un projet d'avenir. C'est ce à quoi je m'engage devant cette Assemblée. Je ne suis ni fatigué, ni malade, comme l'écrivent les journaux allemands. À ce qu'il paraît, les médecins se font journalistes. Je reste ce que je suis. Je vais jusqu'à mon dernier souffle combattre pour l'Europe unie.
Soviet Union that we reduce the threat of nuclear weapons by negotiating a stable balance at far lower levels of strategic forces. This is a fitting occasion to announce that START, as we call it, strategic arms reductions, that the negotiations between our country and the Soviet Union will begin on the 29th of June. As for existing strategic arms agreements, we will refrain from actions which undercut them so long as the Soviet Union shows equal restraint. With goodwill and dedication on both sides, I pray that we will achieve a safer world. Our goal is peace. We can gain that peace by strengthening our alliances, by speaking candidly of the dangers before us, by assuring potential adversaries of our seriousness, by actively pursuing every chance of honest and fruitful negotiation. It is with these goals in mind that I will depart Wednesday for Europe, and it's altogether fitting that we have this moment to reflect on the price of freedom and those who have so willingly paid it. For however important the matters of state before us this next week, they must not disturb the solemnity of this occasion, nor must they dilute our sense of reverence and the silent gratitude we hold for those who are buried here. The willingness of some
You need money for the meter, money for the toll. Don't turn on the heater, daddy's on the dole. They tell me that the devil pays good money for your soul. We don't got no dough. Tell me there's a dollar in the pocket of your jeans. Need money for the baby, the bacon and the beans. I'd buy you a dozen roses, but I just don't have the means. Don't got no dough. Sorry, Mr. Landlord, I cannot pay the rent. Run down to the bank and ask them where my money went. Then come back and tell me just who overspent. Mister, let me tell you, I blame the government. We don't got